very wide?
I think it feels wide.
I'm not going to go through there.
You won't fit through there. It's not a G-Wiz now, no. So no, it feels wider, I think. Everyone that gets in the car kind of has that sensation, because I think the dash, when you're in here, is so sort of, not spartan, but it's obviously very open plan.
It's very broad, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's a funny sensation. And the wing mirrors are really wide as well.
It's not actually as wide as a Mercedes E-Class or Porsche Panamera or anything like that. Again, it's just that feel, and I think especially being sat left-hand drive, you have a heightened sense of what feels like being a wide car.
Yeah.
Do those mirrors come in automatically?
On this car, again, being the US spec car and the way it is, it doesn't. But on the European cars, yes, it does.
And that'll be standard, will it?
I believe so. Yes.
Great.
So there are things like parking sensors, radar, all that are not featured on this car, but will be on the US car.
I'm not sure of the width here, so I'm going to wait.
Do feel free to wait. We only have a couple of them over here, so it'd be great if I can keep this one.
Come on, you move it. It's not going to be able.
So there are 3 different versions of the car in effect that most people talk about: the 60 kilowatt, the 85, and then the 85 performance. So they are in effect engine sizes and fuel tanks. So the 60 kilowatt will do sort of 230 miles rated, whereas the 85 will do about 310.
Let's talk about charging infrastructure and the superchargers, and when you think that's going to be more, because this car for us, if we get rid of our city G-Wiz and the Merc, it will become the car for the family that will want to drive quite regularly 300 miles down to the southwest and stuff. So when do you think, what's the feeling on superchargers and how long it takes to charge up and so on?
So what your situation you described there is fairly common in that many people want the electric vehicle, and they have that. They have the Leaf or Zoe or something similar, and then they also have another car to do the actual driving.
Yeah.
But with this, of course, you can hopefully get rid of both of those and combine it into the one. So in terms of creating the mileage, it's easy. I do about 330-ish, in fact, when I'm driving sensibly.
Do you?
I believe the record is 471.
Really?
In Norway.
On one charge?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what we hear.
So not even warm weather. We get a huge difference by the weather.
Yeah, I really don't notice it with this car, to be honest, because the batteries are always monitored and kept at a temperature, so it heats up and cools down anyway.
We get half as much range as in bad weather, yeah.
To be honest, I haven't spent enough time with any of the other cars.
Yeah.
When I've got this, why would I guess? So no, there isn't really a huge discernible difference between the wet weathers. What will happen is, of course, with the regen, as you may notice, it can be it acts as a brake. So in very cold weathers, it'll limit the amount of regen that it will offer, so that it doesn't lock up wheels and this kind of thing. So there are differences that you will notice in different climate conditions, but other than that, it will be the same all year round, pretty much. In answer to your question about superchargers, I mean, I've done about 20,000 miles now in the UK.
Right.
In a couple of these cars, and of course we don't have superchargers. So they are very nice, and they'll be great when they are here. But especially with the country our size, and for the sort of commutes that most people do, they are really not essential. It's just that public perception, I think, of getting around it. So with 300 miles range, we could go almost Birmingham and back and get quite happy.
Yeah.
But the public service stations that you've got already are pretty good that we can charge up on. But most people will, at home, charge up. Do their daily long drive if they like, and come back and charge either at the office or back at home again.
How long does it take to charge on a 3 amp regular charging on a mains plug in the UK for a full charge?
So I kind of tend to look at it a little bit differently, because of course, as I was sort of explaining about how most people use the car anyway, it will be to and from work, which is maybe a 30-40 mile drive, in which case most people won't need to actually charge up until the weekend.
Yeah.
But if you treat this a little bit differently, as you guys know about charging. You just, every time you're stationary or near something, just plug it in, like your mobile phone. Just like the car.
So you're topping it up basically all the time,
rather than waiting until it's empty.
And you don't have to do full charges and cycle the batteries in that way. That won't harm the battery.
We've got 7,000 plus mobile phone, cell phone batteries underneath us. It really is. Treat it like a mobile phone.
Okay.
So it will charge on a normal 3-pin 13 amp plug at about 13-14 miles an hour. So that's the way I kind of like to express it, rather than how many hours it will take. So if you've done 50 miles in a day, then it's going to take you about 4 hours overnight to charge.
Okay.
But I think most people, I especially do, like to try and get 6-7 hours, perhaps sleep in a night, so you're going to cover up most of that. And then of course for the UK,
and it's going to charge fast at the beginning anyway, isn't it? So if you put it on, if you gave it 7 hours overnight and it was empty, would you get on a 3 amp
On the 3 amp, 7 hours, you'd probably be looking at over 100 miles.
Okay, so yeah.
Easily.
It's a case of topping it up, isn't it? Really, continually. Yeah.
But of course, at UK homes, if that's where people are doing most of their charging, you can also get the 32 amp, like we charged up here.
Yeah.
And that will charge at sort of about 25, 26 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So a night's sleep and you could charge up pretty much the whole car if you managed to do 300 miles in one go the day before.
Yeah. What do you think, Lizzie? How's it feel?
It's great. It's really different. It's not torquey, is it? It's something different. The steering feels
well, let me change some of
more
these features as we're going along.
Does that make sense? It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't have the organic feel of a stronger, of a more powerful petrol car or diesel car. But I think that's just a getting used to it. But it's very controlled and very. It's nice. It's a really nice sort of steering weight or whatever. What am I doing here?
Right, just
Badly
change the weight.
management. Okay.
So you've now got more of a something you're used to, more of a Mercedes. So we go sort of Mercedes to BMW is how I express it often.
Okay. So what did I have before?
You had it in the sort of the BMW, so more of a sporty,
Okay.
heavier weight to the wheel. So you feel
Okay.
it's a
So
lot
this is
nicer.
loose. Okay.
And also the regen braking. If you, I think we're clear now behind. If you came off the accelerator now, you'll notice it hasn't really slowed down anywhere near as much as it did before. So it's much more like an automatic.
Yeah.
So we've got these features in terms of regen and also creep, which make it feel a lot more like an automatic would be. So when you first get into it and you want to maybe get used to it for, I would suggest 10 minutes, and then you'll switch it to the full EV mode. Really.
So this is just lazy driving.
Yep.
This is 9 times out of 10
This is my
driving.
half asleep shopping driving.
Yeah, this is
Or
nice. This is what
motorway
most of
driving.
us would do.
Yeah.
So this is motorway mode.
Well, actually, on the motorway, I turn it to sport and standard, so that the weight on the steering wheel is a little bit stiffer, so that when you're trying to just keep in a line, it's much easier. The steering wheel isn't as flighty. So that was more city.
Okay.
So when you're going around tight corners, you can actually just do it with one finger. It's very light.
Oh, good. I really like it. Right, so this
That's
is
a
your
good start.
motorway mode.
You don't need to sell this car to me, but you do need to sell it to Lizzie.
I'm quite fussy about
I'm afraid we
cars.
don't do selling, we just do educate.
Oh, okay,
It's
fair
only-
enough. That's kind of why I'm here with the camera, I guess.
So really, in terms of you're saying lazy driving, that's the idea. It's not even really 2 pedal driving anymore, it's just 1 pedal.
Yeah.
You leave your foot pretty much there,
Yeah.
and as long as you give enough distance in front, all you'll do is just keep coming off and
So
down
that's
on
stop playing
acceleration.
around with using the other leg instead.
Left foot braking and all sorts, yeah. Racing driver.
Yeah, that's board long journeys, isn't it?
What's your feeling on the options? You know, for Europe
Lovely.
spec, I know you can get the tech pack and so on. I've read
Yep.
about and various things. What's your feeling on things that are good to go for over here? And just so I start thinking about how much this car actually does cost and so on.
Well, I guess, again, as you guys know, Tesla is a little bit different in many ways.
Yeah.
And one of those ways is that we recommend that the base car, the £49,900 car, is really the one to sort of go with. And then work up from that. If you want other options, add them on. The base car is faster than most Porsche 911s anyway, 5.4 seconds to 60, so it's not a slow version of the car at all, it's still incredibly quick. And then you just add on the options. So people like the glass roof, glass panoramic we've got above us, it gives that big airy feeling.
It's a nice big one, isn't it?
Be nice in the summer as well when we have some sun.
Would
Maybe
it be
not
hot
today.
there?
No, it reflects about 90%, I believe, of the UV rays and everything else. So it actually, in terms of thermal efficiency, is very good.
Very good.
What I would suggest is the one thing that people really like on the car, because inside here now is very much as it would be a standard. We're going to go right on this roundabout. So I'm trying to tell you all of this and also
Yeah, so we've got your work cut out for you today.
the tech package.
Yeah.
Is a really good thing to have.
Is it?
It gives you the thing that people like, the pop-out door handles.
Yeah.
It's included in that.
Yeah.
And also one of the features we have on here, as you can see, I don't want to go distracting you too much with driving.
No,
but
I won't.
we've got Google Maps running here at the moment.
Yeah.
So this is on the 3G connection that the car has, which again on the 85 kilohertz is something free to use.
Yeah.
Am I in the right place?
Yes, so we just follow it around and we're going to go straight on.
This lane or that?
This one will be fine, and then we're going to go straight up towards the M4. But with the tech package, you also get all of this package comes as standard. But when you have that, you can also, for example, where I was this morning, Oxford, and then you'll see on your screen on the left there, you then get turn-by-turn directions as well.
Right, yeah,
so you
that's
don't
nice.
even need to look at the screen
Yeah.
for navigation. So there's a few things like that that the tech package really complements the car with. So that's the one thing I often recommend to people. That go with the tech package. And then the rest of it, the nice big wheels, the different colour options and other things like that, it's all just personal preference.
Yeah.
I'm going to go right on this round.
What's your feeling on the base model and the bigger model has a better range, doesn't it? The slightly more powerful. So, just thinking about that whole business of range anxiety and whether it's better really to go for the... I saw the Autocard recommend you go for the bigger model.
I guess it's a question that can only be answered by the individual, because it all comes down to how you're planning on using it. People's average commute is 30 miles a day. So, again, the base model, the 60 kilowatt, would suffice for that without needing to charge until Sunday.
Yeah.
But then again, some people do want that 0-60 in 4 seconds.
Yeah.
As you just experienced there with that smile on your face. It can be quite satisfying.
And what's your feeling on residuals on it? Because I saw there was some stuff in the press about the S-Class and so on comparison.
Am I...
So yeah, keeping this right lane, we'll just follow this round to M4 West, so heading out of London. And then what we'll do, we'll go down to the bottom, switch round, and then we can do the reverse.
Great.
Yeah, residuals, it's an interesting one to answer. Of course, the US have got their guaranteed amount, but here in Europe, the leasing companies are giving it a really good run for the money, so you're getting some great options on that. But Norway, anecdotally, the second-hand cars at the moment are going for about 20% more than the new ones. So, and I can imagine that will probably be fairly similar here, because supply and demand, we're not going to have a huge number here, and the UK really hasn't woken up to electric vehicles in general, let alone Tesla.
Yeah.
So I'm sure once you've got a few hundred of these running around the centre of London and people actually start noticing them, and you look around you now, in fact the guys behind us and the guys sat to our left are all having a good old look at the car. It always gets photographs and everything like that.
Getting the thumbs up from the guys behind there as well. Yeah.
So yeah, I can see this being one of those cars that everyone really wanted and should have ordered when we knew about them, and second hand's going to be good.
You're going left here, aren't you?
But with the residual value as well, the one thing really to bear in mind is, of
Put
course...
your foot down, Liz, and show them. Oh, yes.
Is the warranties that are offered on the car.
Is the warranty?
Yeah, so we've got 8 years and unlimited mileage on the battery, 500,000 mile warranty on the motor.
Yeah.
So all of these things that you obviously wouldn't get with your normal...
It's lovely. So, okay, so it's proven in Norway. It's going to be fine for us driving across Europe for skiing. I'm not sure if you get skis on the roof.
It's got a roof rack.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, surfboard. Fine.
Oh, I haven't seen... Oh, well, when it's made in California.
Yeah.
So these are the essentials of our life: skiing, surfing, and camping. So we do use vehicles really hard.
Well, what has occurred to me about camping with it, Liz, is you just plug it in on the electric park, on the any camper van
inside your camping fridge.
Yeah, they've all got 3-amp charging bays or whatever. We just continually charge the car up. So you could use this as your camper van.
It's got twice as much luggage as the 5 Series BMW as well.
Yeah.
So
That having that area in the front is fantastic.
You've driven left-hand drive cars before? Yeah. I can tell. Normally, I'm often asking, can we move to the left a little bit at this point? Which is why this is the danger seat, because you sit right on the oncoming cars.
Yeah, we had a left-hand drive camper van for years, and that was our city car. So.
Interesting choice of automobiles over your time.
Yeah, we have.
Had quite a range.
Fun. We had a Capri.
Oh, right.
That was probably the most fun car we've ever had.
It was brilliant, that car.
We've been sensible for years now, so it's about time. Something else. Kids are getting older.
What's the service package like on it? What do you have to do? 1 year, every year, or what is it?
You don't actually have to get it serviced at all. So it won't affect your warranty.
Really?
Over the 4-year period. However, it is, as you've experienced, a fast car, so you probably want to have that looked at. It's got wheels, tyres, brakes, everything else like a normal car. So it would be advisable, of course, to look at that. And we do a package where it covers you for the 4 years, and we have something called like a Ranger service as well, so we'd actually come out to you and service the car. Or in fact, we'll loan you a little roadster for the weekend.
Oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? So you can put the car in for a service and take a roadster out.
That's the idea.
Nice.
Are these services very expensive?
The service package, I believe, because our prices have only just been released, it's about £2,000 for the 4-year package.
Okay.
So £500 a year.
That's not too bad.
What's cheaper than the
Well,
G-Wiz?
if you imagine a car of, and I'm not going to mention any brands on camera, of course, but if you look at a comparative brand and priced car, I think you'd find it was quite good. Yeah, if we pull over, let's put in left here, and then we can do the swap around.
Okay.
So I don't know my way around here quite yet. I would say there's no tail quite enough.
Over there?
Yeah, wherever you feel free to pull over. We'll just do the swap. As long as we don't go into there because we get caught by the cameras. That way.
Just swap around here, Lizzie, and I'll drive around the... Yeah, pull in on the left here and I'll swap here with you.
Sorry. So what happens
Are you happy with me?
If you want to lock the car, and I'll just film that going in. Film that going in. So we're back in the 2001 Mercedes that's done 160,000 miles, and my wife's driving it because she does drive a lot, actually, more than me. So it's good to have a conversation about it. And let's talk about it. What do you think? What did you think of it compared to this?
Really lovely and much more similar than I thought. So it was large and it felt robust. Because we use this current car, our old Mercedes estate, for robust jobs like gardening and rubble and furniture removal, and for long trips and for camping and surfing and going skiing. So it carries a lot of equipment and people, and safety is an important thing, and comfort and space within it. And I was really impressed that the Tesla had that functionality about it. It felt very practical and not so special that you'd be very frightened driving it and worried about it getting scuffed or dirty, or just doing jobs, using it as a multi-purpose car and vehicle, which we do with this car currently.
And what's your feeling about driving it around London compared to, our G-Wiz and so on, a small city car?
Size-wise, on the roads we were driving on this morning, the lanes were quite narrow. It felt fine actually, and that was left-hand drive that we tried out today, which is a little bit trickier on these roads. But no, it didn't feel too large to handle at all, and it's not super high or anything like some SUVs and so it didn't have that impact. It didn't feel like that, and it didn't feel too heavy either. I've got concerns about how much extra fuel it uses, and I wonder if it would perform like any other combustion engine vehicle, and that its fuel consumption might go up in town, and whether you're kidding yourself that you're driving a carbon neutral car when if it's a coal-fired electricity station that's giving you the energy, and you're consuming a lot more because you're in stop-start mode in traffic in a city, that it is not an environmental car at all, and people could be seduced into feeling environmental, and actually it could be generally just worse for the planet, and we could all be doing it blindly.
Well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by it using more fuel? In what way?
Well, just that, say, normal petrol engines, diesel engines, but when I drive the Merc around town, I know that I consume a lot more fuel than I do on a long run, and I wonder if that consumption rises significantly in a car like the Tesla, because it feels like a high-performance, highly tuned car. But then it regenerates as well, so maybe there's maybe comparing like for like, town driving, city and countryside driving in a combustion engine to that electric car would be favourable for the Tesla. It might be worse.
But once you've charged the batteries up, then they just deplete in the same way. If you drive it quickly, they'll deplete quicker.
Yeah.
And if you drive it slowly, they won't. So it's not like stop-start in the way that a combustion engine is, I think. But I don't know, it'd be an interesting study to do, to see how it performs on urban settings compared to extra urban and everything else.
You always use more energy starting something that has stopped, rather than just rolling along.
Yeah.
So
That's what we'll need to look into then. How efficient that car actually is in the city.